Meanwhile, at the Hall of Cage.
This is my snakeskin jacket, and for me, it's a symbol of my individuality and belief in personal freedom.
Oh God, not the bees.
Killing me won't bring back your goddamn honey.
What do you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna save the fucking day.
How absurd.
Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the box?
How absurd. I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence. How absurd.
How, in the name of Zeus's butthole, did you get out of your cell?
How absurd.
What's in the bag? A shark or something?
How absurd.
Well, I think you better pull the trigger, because I don't give a fuck.
How absurd.
I never disrobed before gunplay.
How absurd.
Hello and welcome everyone to Caging Greatness, your foremost Nicolas Cage themed podcast. Today we're going to be talking about The Color Out of Space and also about how Thomas Jefferson is a massive, insufferable prick. Joining me are my effervescent co-hosts, as always, recently returned from a horror-themed baking show called At the Muffins of Madness. We have my friend Cannon.
Yep, I am back once again with another Cage film. Gonna find out if this film was the best of times or did it make us want to get gone in 60 seconds.
Fuck's sake.
That was great, I don't care.
That was fantastic.
Hello everyone, this is Phantasmagorical Path.
All right, it's Slam Dunkin' Jonathan.
I didn't even have to say my name this time. Thank you, Justin.
Oh, sure. Well, see, that's how I can get everyone rolling for telling their names, by introducing you first, because you're on my right. You're at my right hand.
This is true.
You know, for those of you who can't see this, which is all of you,
That video podcast that doesn't exist.
you just got to trust me on this.
For the people that live in our walls, please stop watching us.
Abaddon!
So today, the most important thing we have to say is, why the fuck aren't you watching WandaVision?
Yeah. Look.
We're doing our weekly check-in.
For God's sake.
Like, are you okay? Are you drinking enough water? Are you fucking watching WandaVision?
Like, there's one episode left as of this recording, and it comes out, if you're listening to this the day it releases, tomorrow. So you got like 24 hours to catch up. Like 20, 22-ish if you watch it first thing in the morning.
Time's counting down.
So hurry up.
There are people at work that actually stay up till 2 a.m. who have a morning shift the next day just to watch that and then just be like, hey, I watched it last night. I was like, well, I enjoy sleeping, so.
Look, I wake up an hour early so I can get to the shop, lock the door behind me, pour my cereal, and watch the show without being disturbed.
Is it WandaVision cereal?
Unfortunately, no. They haven't made that yet, but when they do, I'll be buying a case.
Oh, yes. It has to be, right?
Yeah. It's a Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm told that it's the taste you can see.
I think if they made a WandaVision cereal, they would just repackage Apple Jacks.
Yeah, you can see that.
Just recolor them.
Apple Jacks, underrated cereal.
No.
Apple Jacks are good. I fuck
I
with some
enjoy
Apple
them.
Jacks.
Yeah, Apple Jacks are really good.
I love Apple Jacks.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Love the Kellogg's Matchbox 20 podcast now. They
Right.
don't even get that bit. We were talking about Matchbox 20 before we hit record.
This is a deeply inside joke where
Yeah.
Ken and I enjoy Matchbox 20 as a band.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm mad.
So we're going
Hit
to
record. No,
yeah, we're going to start a
I'm
Matchbox
just
20
thinking
podcast at some
right now,
point.
like this litany of spin-offs that are desperately wanting to be made. I mean, we got a WandaVision just waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Matchbox 20, Serial Talk,
Santana.
Santana.
Like,
Jonathan's spinoff of our new spinoff.
Look, you wanted an all-you-can-hear podcast empire. This is how we do it. We just spam with content, and eventually something's going to catch on.
Let me talk to you about 3 hours about the beauty of Black Magic Woman.
It's probably not going to be that podcast, but, we'll give it a shot.
I mean, every episode is a new spinoff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
AK, what our show is, it's just a different topic.
Because right now, Caging Greatness, the show you're listening to, thanks both of you, we have 2 dedicated listeners. One of which, who I did hear, was actually not thrilled with your Leonard Skinner bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he also didn't care about Cher at all. So,
So he's on
Oh.
my shit list.
And just want to shout out our friend Frank, one of 2 listeners. We love you.
We love you,
Hi,
Frank.
Frank.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to come on for a certain episode in our future.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be fun. We're going to have him on. He's a friend of the show and friend of the other show and friend of us.
He's a friend of many shows.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
And friend of many friends.
Right. Yeah, he's friend of a friend of a friend of a friend. So The Color Out of Space
Yeah.
is...
It's a movie.
It is a movie. It's a Nicolas Cage movie, to be exact, in case you don't know the show that you're listening to
and
right now.
it is a Lovecraft movie. So for this particular episode, I will be taking a strange position. Not missionary position, but the position of
Doggy style.
the Lovecraft fan, more so than the Cage fan. So
That was a delayed reaction to your doggy style bit. I'm sorry.
I'm glad I always mark this show as explicit. We might get in trouble.
Oh, you don't want to get in trouble for saying
No.
the F word.
No. Fuckity fuck. So,
It depends on what F word you're saying. You gotta be,
This
you
is
gotta be
true.
same
The
rank with
fuck
me.
word, okay?
Fucking Pat has a gun to all of our heads.
I'm ready for some receipts. Y'all better watch out.
So Color Out of Space is a fantastic movie, and we do want to put a little disclaimer in the beginning. We do recognize that H.P. Lovecraft was a product of his time, which means he was very, very, very racist and very, very misogynistic, also very classist. It wasn't just that he hated other races. He also very much hated anyone that wasn't upper crust New England.
Yeah, he was a capital B bigot.
He kind of, as a human being, was a shit.
So not even the lower crust.
No. Upper crust,
Motherfucker.
right?
I said
So-
that word again.
so-
Sue me.
We do recognize that. So everything we say in, context of, I love Lovecraft, please understand that means I love the Lovecraft work, not the person.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter unless you craft love.
Because the work is enduring.
Craft love, not war.
Just walking all over my gold here, Justin. I'm sorry, I'm fucking with you.
I didn't see no gold.
See no gold. For that video podcast, I did the Cena thing.
Yeah.
For those, 2 Alabama fans who don't like Cher.
Don't worry, we're going to get to the movie at some point. But
No. In the next 30 minutes, we
Really
will.
like vamping.
But no, we just want to make sure everyone understands we are not endorsing the viewpoints of H.P. Lovecraft or anyone else. Like, if we ever talk about, fucking Kevin Spacey, it'll probably come up.
Yeah.
He used to be my favorite actor.
Same.
And then we found out he is a... Whoo,
Yeah.
he
big
sure
nope.
is.
Big old pile of nope there.
Yep. But we can appreciate the work while still fucking hating the person.
That is very true.
Separation between the art and the artist will be different for every person and every work, and that's okay.
Right.
Also, H.P. Lovecraft is dead, so that makes things a little easier.
Right, and also every halfway popular writer and or creative person, or really anyone from the early 1900s,
And before.
yeah, was they got some fucking issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you say Lovecraft did not like the lower crust, but what was his opinion on Uncrustables?
There's not a problem with the audio recording. This is just a stare down.
And I think I think a legit cricket started. Listen. Everyone, John.
That is a cricket. That's a
Oh
cricket
my
up in
God,
there.
that was not
That's
happening
incredible.
until those words came out of your mouth.
Now, I will say there has
Wow.
been a cricket stuck in this base before. It might still be the same one.
I mean,
And I've seen him. He's huge.
So even the universe didn't like that show.
Hey, I'm sorry y'all have no fucking taste.
No, John, I think it's relevant because I don't think Uncrustables were made for human beings. They're made for a creature that has no idea how to eat a regular sandwich. They must be
Children.
given a disc.
Agreed.
of
real sandwiches
goo
scare
and
them.
bread.
Ugh, ham and cheese
the
Uncrustable.
Uncrustables,
gross.
Oh
The-
God, ooh,
That sounds
that's- no,
terrible.
that's terrible.
You want a Philly cheesesteak Uncrustable.
Oh God, why would you?
Just puree a steak sandwich.
Don't put
No,
that into
fuck.
the universe.
and
What's
make yourself
wrong
an
with you?
Uncrustable.
Well, at that point, just might as well just fucking baby robbing it in my mouth.
It also comes with
God.
a little sippy cup of au jus.
Color
See-
Out
see-
of Space.
Yeah, I do.
This seems like
I do love a cup of au jus. It always makes me say "aw just,"
Man,
because that's how it's spelled. That's how bad your joke was, Jonathan.
I don't know. I thought mine was fucking hilarious.
It was great. It's that cricket who has no taste. I'm mad at the cricket, to be honest.
I like-
Speaking of au jus,
I liked the Uncrustables joke. It was funny.
But also,
Yeah.
speaking of horrors beyond human comprehension,
Right, children. That's what we were talking about.
yeah, exactly.
a child.
The Color Out of Space, starring Nicolas Cage, directed by Richard Stanley, who there's a documentary on Amazon called Lost Soul about the making of The Island of Dr. Moreau, because he was the original director of that before shit went sideways, Marlon Brando went crazy, and Val Kilmer went all the way up his own ass.
Marlon Brando was exceptionally crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, a lot of problems with Val Kilmer, because Brando asked for Richard Stanley based off of a shorter independent horror film that he did before. And so that caused Richard Stanley to quit movies for 20 years.
Yes, very long time.
And this is his triumphant return in what is the first of a planned Lovecraftian trilogy. So, Color Out of Space. Movie is spelled without the U in color, unlike the story, for those of you who are searching for it. Canon, thoughts, ratings, feelings.
Okay, so my rating. I guess I will go ahead and throw this out there. Of this round table, I gave it the lowest score. Doesn't necessarily mean I hate it though. I gave this movie 3 out of 5 stars. And just to keep the bit going, I will read my Letterboxd review. Again, follow me there at that Canon Guy. All of us are going to review it there for the most part, and you can join us on this adventure.
No, we've all reviewed it.
Yeah. So, I basically said, when you want to watch The Ring, Evil Dead, The Thing, The Shining, and Cabin Fever, and then I remembered that Cabin Fever was a movie and got mad at myself. But you only have 2 hours. But just off the cuff thoughts, I thought it was a beautiful movie. There were times where, again, thank God we bit the bullet on that TV because it looked fantastical. I got a little bit more of what I wanted in a Cage movie. I will say that. That was nice. That was very nice.
Great performance.
Some things, a little just didn't sit right. But that's just nitpicky bullshit. We will get to that. That's the point. So, yeah, 3 out of 5. I enjoyed it.
Pat, how about you?
My succinct review and letterbox rating would be 3.5 out of 5. I largely enjoyed the film. I didn't have any sort of make or break critiques. It's just sort of I felt it told a solid story in a compelling way. I don't really feel super attached to the film. I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad I got to experience, but I don't really feel like this will be one that will stick with me. But I think it's very much worth the watch. And also, my eyes hurt after the end of it.
Yeah.
It was very bright. Jonathan?
I'm in a similar boat with Pat where I thought it was really fun. Like Cannon said, just fucking gorgeous. But I think I appreciate aspects of this movie more than actually enjoying it. And I don't really have any major critiques of the movie. It just didn't grab me in the way, some other movies have. But yeah, I forgot Otto the Octopus. He's not here right now.
Oh no, I meant to remind you of that. I'm sorry.
But if he was here, he would be very happy.
He'd be on the happy side.
And I also gave it 3.5.
Sure. And in what seems to be a recurring pattern, my score is significantly higher. But again, I think, and this brings up a couple of interesting points, is as a dedicated Lovecraftian fan, I've loved H.P. Lovecraft since I was a wee lad. I was going to say small boy, but I've never been small. But as a youngster, that's when I discovered the Cthulhu mythos, and I've always been a big fan of Lovecraft's work. Not the person, again, please refer to earlier, but the work, henceforth referred to as Lovecraft, more as an overarching noun as opposed to a proper noun. But I've always been a fan of Lovecraft, so this movie hit different for me because this is a big part of the stuff I love. And what's funny is about scary movies, I hate scary movies. But not because of the overwhelming fear and dread. And I get made fun of because we watched Ouija once in theaters and I hid my eyes. But I maintain I was not scared. I love being frightened. I hate, fucking goddamn hate being startled.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
100%. Jump
So-
scares can eat a dick.
They're so weak and like just I hate jump scares. Okay, like The Shining is one of my favorite movies. There's like 2 scares that qualify as jump scares, but even then they're not like jump scares. It's not a fucking cat jumping out of the frame right before a ghost grabs you or some shit, right? I hate that, but that overwhelming feeling of dread, the atmosphere, I love it. I eat it up. It's so good. And so as a fan of Lovecraft, the work, not the person, this movie is so full of Easter eggs and references and that feeling of universal cosmic horror that I love so much about Lovecraft's work. That's why I rated it 5 stars.
Somehow
Out of
Justin
5.
gave it 6.5. Dave Meltzer over here.
if I
ladies
could-
and
Hack
gentlemen.
Letterbox.
But in 7 in the Tokyo Dome. But
Yeah.
if I could have hacked Letterboxd to change my score higher than 5, I would have done that.
Of course.
I don't really have any critiques of the movie that aren't something that is supposed to be part of the movie. Like, the youngest kid with glasses, fucking annoying. But then his fate is terrible, and you kind of like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really fucked.
And we will be discussing spoilers, but
Full
you know,
spoilers ahead.
for anyone who's read the book and the story and the movie follow pretty much the same trajectory. There's a color from space that kills everybody.
But was there a moment where someone turns the camera, the color out of space?
Why did the color that killed everybody have to be so pretty, though? That was
Well,
just sad.
The original point of the color, I need to get into the history before we all talk about the movie itself. This was actually Lovecraft's favorite of his own stories.
Ooh.
And he wrote it because stories of the time that involved aliens were so humanoid and understandable for aliens. He was irritated by that. He thought that an alien force should be, by definition, alien, impossible to understand. And so he wrote his own story about a mysterious color. A meteor shows up, something inside pops when they poke it, and then this weird miasma starts killing everyone. And that was the purpose of it. That was the first of his real cosmic sort of horror stories. Now, in the book, it was a lot more Thanos than Cronenberg. The color would suck the life force out of everything, and then everything would turn gray, crumble, and die. Sort of like the end scene of the movie where everything explodes and is just gray.
Yeah.
It's just that in slow motion up till then. Like the weird body horror stuff, that didn't really happen. Now, it did mutate the animals to where they looked kind of funny, and basically their faces were weird in the story.
Yeah.
Like they looked more alien than they should have, and the grass glowed a weird color, and that was it. So there was no body horror mutations and whatnot. Now, the farmer's wife, Nicolas Cage's character's wife, was found still alive, gray and dusty and falling apart and crawling towards the farmer who found her, who then euthanized her. Story's pretty dark.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, this movie is really dark, but
pretty dark as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, despite being very purple and colorful.
And flashy. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so the color is supposed to represent an alien color. Like, they couldn't describe it. It wasn't an earthly color. It was a color out of space.
The thing! The thing! The thing!
He said the thing!
And now, the cool thing is the opening monologue, where it's just showing the beautiful shots of the woods and the hills.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's actually taken straight from the story. That was quotes.
Yeah.
And then the final monologue, when Ward Phillips, the main character of the planned trilogy, is standing on the dam, is paraphrased from the original because they had to alter some words. They call it a reservoir in the story as opposed to a dam, that sort of thing. So I love that they did that. The Miskatonic University shirt, the references to Arkham, Innsmouth, Dunwich, all these, like the girl owned a copy of the Necronomicon because
Yeah.
Lovecraft invented that. It's everywhere now, but that was his thing. So all these little Easter eggs and bits, I'm just sitting there watching and going, I know that thing, and I know that thing. I know all the things. And it's Nicolas Cage. I was thrilled. I loved it. So 5 stars.
I will say, Shim, since you just gave your review, I did want to mention that Colton Winslow could not be here for this one,
Right.
but they did want me to at least shout them out that they enjoyed this movie as well, and they gave it 4.5 stars each.
I saw that, and I love them more than I love you guys.
And I will read Wenzel's review saying, a colorful, beautiful, and easily a classic cosmic horror film, and probably Nicolas Cage's best performance to date.
Disagree
The
with that,
VFX
but
and
it's fine.
practical effects were great and was genuinely terrifying. Also, surprisingly, a really funny movie.
My head's hot. My ears are warm. Sorry, I don't agree with his review.
I feel like that might be an illness.
I'm dying.
You might
Best performance.
you might have a fever.
Yeah.
And the only prescription is
Is
a
more
better
ca-
movie review.
Damn.
I kid.
Throwing
Menzel,
shots.
I kid.
Oh, come now. They don't listen to the show.
No, they're just on it. All. Well, not this one yet.
No, I would disagree in that best performance because there was just off the top of my head that time he won an Oscar. That one was better, but this was a really good Cage performance. This was like a first wonderful Cage performance of the modern era. I will definitely agree with that.
I'm looking at sort of this timeline. Okay, you have, the golden age, the silver age, the bronze age, the modern age.
It's not a bad way to look at it. I might make that up as a little chart. Put it on the soch.
There's an
I guess I'm going to have to watch more Modern Cage because
Oh, don't worry.
I
we
got to
will.
find the best performance here.
I guess if it was by what best means, you mean like his most scene shooter at performance, like sort of his elevated
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's
I
gonna-
know it's all subjective.
That's going
but,
to be
you know.
Mom and Dad, hands down. Like scenery chewing, crazy performance is going to be Mom and Dad for the modern
Oh
era
yeah,
of
for
Cage.
sure.
Then you have like a conventional acting where this is what most people think with acting, and giving like a very nuanced and emotional performance.
Adaptation,
You
bringing out the
have,
dead.
Both of those because Cage is nothing if not nuanced.
Believe it or not, Left Behind. He was the only good part of that movie,
I mean,
and we will be watching it. I know
Yeah.
Jonathan's thrilled.
I might be conspicuously sick.
I think I'm the only one
that's
here who
good.
hasn't seen that
You
one.
can chill on the couch and enjoy the movie. I'll come over. We'll have bonding time.
John just needs a very sturdy drink in his hand.
But no, as far as acting, the movie was really well acted. Color Out of Space was. The characters were all pretty unlikable,
Yeah.
but that's generally the theme of Lovecraft and his work. Is that the overarching theme is that the cosmic horrors and the universe, at best, doesn't care about us, and at worst, actively hates us. So life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's eldritch beings from Pluto, as opposed to life. So it fits. You're not supposed to like these characters.
Yep. I will say, like the girl who plays the daughter.
Mhm.
There were moments, especially early on, where I'm like, acting's not great, but like it was never anything like that super took me out of it.
Right. It wasn't distracting. She was good in the role. She
Yeah.
was an annoying teenage daughter, and that's what she was supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's like you can't forget that Oscar-worthy performance where she's like, "I want McDonald's."
Yeah,
That was-
Yeah. There was some, and then
I
there was
was
some
like,
like
Really? This is the thing.
I mean, that
we're
sounded
gonna
like-
get the angsty teenager to be all like pissy about right now.
I mean, that sounds
I
like
want nuggies.
that's an angsty.
It's like,
Just like a full-grown woman, damn near.
give me nuggies or give me death.
it's like what's that line from TikTok? I don't want vegetables. I want
chicken
nuggets. Or chicken fingers.
God, fuck you, mom.
So yeah, I'd say it's a pretty convincing teenager performance.
It's like, how dare a teenager be like getting under the skin of the general population, because that never happens.
Yeah.
Nope,
never.
teenagers are all super well behaved, very soft-spoken.
Well adjusted.
But yeah, other than that, like, or at least for me, I thought the acting was pretty great.
Well, how about that one scene where the tomatoes have begun to be nasty?
Slam dunk.
Yeah, that was a fun scene.
Like, just starts just taking huge Mondo bites out of each one and then just like slam dunking them in a trash can.
It tastes like shit.
God,
That was so good.
Yeah, that was.
And then the car freak out where he's trying to get away and the car won't start. He just starts punching everything in it.
Cocksucker.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I've had many moments like that
Oh,
in
me
a
too,
car,
for sure,
like
yeah.
just rage.
That's me every day before I go to work.
That's what gets me excited for another one that I know we'll watch, because apparently the director wanted him to channel what he did for Vampire's Kiss, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That's
like,
gonna be
I
a
haven't
good
seen
time.
that one. I've seen bits. I'm excited for that one.
That's
as
going to
well.
be a good time.
But
I'm excited.
Well, how about my favorite line delivery of anything in this movie has to be when Ward and the sheriff show back up at the house right before everything really goes to hell, and Nicolas Cage covered in blood. It's just him because he's already locked his daughter in with the thing we'll get to shortly, because that's going to be the crux of what all of us want to talk about, I think. And he comes to the door, and he's just bloody and shaking, and exactly the door opens. And he's like, we've been having a hard time, and things haven't been going well. And he's covered in blood, and Ward and the sheriff are just fucking horrified.
Yeah, and then he starts talking about his family. That's just right there.
Yeah, except they're totally not.
just watching
Yeah.
TV.
And then there's a definitely good audience surrogate moment where Ward and the sheriff are just like,
What?
"All right, we're here now."
That line delivery was my favorite.
Yeah, but one thing I liked about Cage's performance was when he would go in between the being controlled by the thing and not, and like when he wasn't, like, it's Nicolas Cage, but it was fairly grounded. And then when things start messing with his head, he turns into the more Nicolas Cage that we know and love.
I do think that's a great way for them to include both sides of his acting coin, like the more conventional acting, and then because this force, by its nature or not, it just makes people insane, and him be able to turn up the cage of it all to do sort of his more, what's the opposite of lucid?
Manic.
Yeah. Also, Tommy Chong's in this movie.
Yes.
in this movie.
Yes.
That character was actually completely created for the film.
I can see that.
Yeah, but he was great. And the recording of himself talking about the color when they find his dead body, spoiler.
And then it's like all like distorted. And
that's
shit.
also taken straight from the original story.
That was a great scene.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite scene of the whole movie.
Oh,
to be
that
honest.
that started the last 20 minutes where everything really goes crazy.
Yeah.
It was a good time. So, there's a lot of Cronenberg body horror in this.
Yes, there is.
And I do love me some Cronenberg.
And like I said, in the original story, when the color out of space takes your life force, it turns you gray and ashy, and you just fall to dust, right? Like so many other stories and things. Like it's a lot like Annihilation. How the movie Annihilation took a lot from the original story because there's a weird alien force that messes with stuff.
Yeah.
But like other movies, Gears of War, I think it was, had that scene where you're going through Gears of War 3, where you're going through a blasted place with a bunch of stand-up bodies that look like they're from Pompeii, and you touch one and it just crumbles, and you're like, oh, the horrors of war! I've got a chainsaw on my gun, right?
Yeah, because that was the duality of Gears of War.
That'll be another spin-off podcast. Gears of War: The Duality of Man.
No, I thought it was going to be about guns with chainsaws on them.
I mean, that's essentially what Gears of War is. So.
I know, so that's going to be a podcast spinning off of that one.
Right, perfect.
Yes.
Also, we have to have a short bit where we have little seafood reviews because the bad guys are called the krill in that one.
Are they?
Are the locusts?
I didn't have an Xbox. I never played Gears of War.
I just watched my buddy Rob play that shit.
I did watch a lot of people play it. I never played it.
Yeah, I never played it.
Point is, the color out of space turns you into the ashy thing that crumbles, as opposed to fusing you with your son into a horrific monstrosity that goes, ah!
Yeah.
Like that was genuinely hard to watch.
The
in
constant
places.
like gurgling and moaning and groaning, and I was just like, this is a little unbearable right now. But that was the point.
like in a
And
good way. Like
yeah,
and it was
it got its fucking point across.
and there's something about like the like you described it, the Thano dust, like I don't know, is a little disconnected. It has emotionally charged as like a little child being fused into his mom into this eldritch abomination.
Right. Well, and the original story, the beats of the story themselves are pretty much the same between the story, the short story, and the movie.
Yeah.
But they had to update a few things for modern times. Like the farmer's name in the book is Nahum. I don't know how many Nahums you run across these days.
I have a cousin named Nahum.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he from Mississippi like the rest of your family?
No.
Really?
Southern Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, so we're up to one. I don't know how many other Nahums you know.
They definitely modernized the name.
Right,
yeah.
How long can I
The family
keep this
definitely
bit rolling? My fake cousin from South Canada named Nahum.
We'll have to have him on the show.
Yes. I
It's
can't
just,
wait.
It's just you sounding like Wayne from Letterkenny.
Oh, now I'm super ready. Let's go. We'll green screen it up. That'll be the first one. Like, oh,
spin-off.
All right, pitter patter.
Right,
Let's get at her.
Letterkenny spinoff coming soon, like Pat said.
oh, man.
Point is,
Allegedly.
they updated a lot of the accoutrement, right?
Yeah, like a
the
lot of-
flashy, but the story itself is more or less the same thing, except in the story it's past tense. Like there's a Ward Phillips character shows up and he's interviewing Nahum. Like, hey, why does everybody think your land is cursed? Because in the book it goes over the span of like a year between the meteor landing and everything going to shit.
Yeah, whereas this, it's like a week at most.
And also just seeing Nick Cage's disheveled ass on that newscast was just hilarious. Nobody could give me a fucking comb? What?
So good.
And then that leads to the wife cutting off her fingers.
Yeah, like had proper knife technique the whole time. All of a sudden her kid goes boo and she's like, what? Choppy, choppy.
Oh,
And just...
There was a great reaction from the room because the whole house was. They were just like, ah, when like her fingers get snipped.
I was like, oh no.
It's like, that's what I do for a living, so I'm just like, yeah, that's the thing I don't want to happen. But again, proper technique until that little, hi, Mom.
when I watched this movie, it was actually the first like alone date I had with the woman I was dating at the time. She came over to the house. We were watching the movie, and within the first 5 minutes, like we didn't like there was nothing else to have. We were watching the movie. There was no hand holding, as scandalous though that sounds. There was no anything else.
She tried. He slapped away.
No.
No,
Yeah,
movie.
no.
Caging and engaging.
Cage is on the screen,
Caging and engaging. Like,
right? But no, like we just watched this movie, and that scene. As soon as you see her with the knife, and the music, everybody knows some shit's
like,
coming.
You know.
You know what's going to happen.
And then when it hits, it's still just as bad as if you had not known it was coming. It's still just terrible because it's just slice, 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 slice. Fingers are gone. It's like, oh no.
And plus, like, this day and age, it's always 50-50 because, you know, more times than not, it would also be a fake out. Like, huh? Oh, no, hi, how you doing? But no, this time, like, it happened. Totally happened.
Yeah.
Fingers.
Yeah,
Nipped
and
off.
that's the one thing I appreciated about this movie, and I think movies are starting to get away from that. But like, you know, there for like the late 2000s throughout the 2010s, it was just like, you know, you got your Insidiouses, Conjurings, just like jump scare after jump scare, and like you were saying, it's not being scared; it's being startled.
Yeah.
And this movie definitely kept that to a minimum.
I will say Insidious was a lot better about it than some of the cheaper horror films.
Yeah.
Like, I actually liked Insidious. The jump scares felt earned as opposed to, here's a cat, fuck you.
Yeah.
Because there's only, I would say, a couple of jump scares. But even then, I felt like they would have been scary on their own if you got like a full chance to look at what was zipping across the screen.
Right, like
Yeah.
the full-on kid mom monster when she pops up in final stage mutation to try and
Some
murder the
Resident
kid.
Evil, final boss shit.
Yeah.
Also, self-harm warning for anyone watching the movie. The daughter does try to perform a Necronomiconian ritual and cuts herself quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was with a box cutter. That was
Yeah.
Hey, I'm surprised she made it through all that one, but, you know, movies.
And actually, that scene and the Necronomicon in general were put in the movie not as like a fun Easter egg but Richard Stanley said he put those in the movie because he wanted to show that even if you have some of your own powerful outside force like the Necronomicon, sometimes whatever you're fighting is just going to fuck you up anyway. There's no getting away from it. You should either run, and if you don't run in time, you're fucked. That was the main purpose of what he did there, which I really appreciated. I thought it was cool.
Also, we just going to gloss over the fact that what was the director's name again? Richard Stanley. Just loves the shit out of the thing. The fucking alpaca monster hybrid thing.
Ooh, that was.
This family had alpacas, by the way.
Yeah.
And it
They
was
milked them, which was another funny fucking scene in that movie.
You gotta be gentle with the boobs.
Boob.
I kind of think Nicolas Cage wanted to fuck an alpaca in this one.
I mean, he wanted to fuck a pinball machine
Right?
in the last episode.
I think we're going to see something in every movie that he wants to fuck
All right,
that isn't like a person.
We got to pay attention to this. We got pinball machine. We got alpaca. So, all right.
well, he wanted to
Write
fuck
that
two
down.
things. He wanted to suck an alpaca's titty, and he wanted to fuck his wife.
Yeah,
Just
that's
like
true.
they were getting like raunchy.
I think he wanted to fuck his wife when his son was fused to her.
I mean, he was really, really caring, but he was super out of his mind at that point.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm going to kiss my giant tumor wife and get her like blood jism on my face. But I will say there was a great bit that Cannon said during like the hanky panky Cage scenes. Like, oh, we're about to do some raging Cajun over there.
Hey, wife,
man.
you ready to meet Lieutenant Cage?
And also, like, it was implied in the movie that, like, she had just had, like, a hysterectomy, I believe. Right?
Yeah, it's something, one of those ectomies. I forget
Yeah.
exactly which one.
Same.
Yeah.
But, then she, like, I don't know, like, thought, like, lower of herself because of it, like, felt like less of a woman for some reason. I was like, well, that subplot's here for some fucking reason. And then when you turn into a weird thing monster with my son as a human backpack, with Nicolas Cage just giving me the tongue punches with the cheese peel from a Ninja Turtle movie spit dribble. Ew!
I'm worried Jonathan's about to puke on the soundboard.
We'll have a live puke on the show.
Yeah, it was bad. But like, there was also that they don't really pay much attention to it, but Nicolas Cage's character is very much, even before it starts going crazy, it's like riddled with insecurity.
Sure.
Yeah.
With, you know, there's like all those references to his dad, and he's like, I'm not like my dad.
I mean, to be fair, that's to be fair, that's pretty realistic for the times where, like, not for someone that age probably as much as like it would be for us.
Well, yeah, and
But, you know,
and that was one of the things I appreciated about the movie. Like, I feel like other movies would have dwelled on that more versus, you know, just had that as sort of just like accoutrement in the background.
right? Well, because Richard Stanley understands that people watch these Lovecraft movies and movies about things like this. They don't care about the motivations of the family that's about to have their day ruined.
They just want to see their day ruined.
Right, they want to see their day ruined. They want to see whatever it is that's about to ruin their fucking day. And how about those last 20 minutes where you see the color and it eats everything and everything goes purple and ultraviolet and that flash to the planet of the color out of space?
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was
Everything
like,
just
holy
made of
shit.
worms and bones.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, like, it's been a long week. I was super tired, and there was a lot of bright, flashy lights happening. Strangely enough, the scenes with the TV, like, you know, from Poltergeist was, like, flashing in my face. It was giving me the most trouble out of the whole movie, but
Yeah, if you have difficult times with flashing lights and colors, you should probably be very careful watching this one.
Definitely,
Especially towards the end.
yeah, I
Yeah.
normally don't, but apparently yesterday my eyes just gave the fuck up.
How about that when right before Ward hides in the cellar and you see all of a sudden the family, Nicolas Cage he'd been shot and he was dead, and then all of a sudden he's not so dead and he's just sitting in his chair, and then the screen flashes and the whole family sitting on the couch
Yeah.
with their backs to Ward but all staring at him over his shoulder. That's fucking creepy. Like,
Yeah.
that's a horrifying scene. I loved it.
Yeah, that's something straight out of the fucking Shining.
But I believe I also chuckled during that scene because that's when we got the line, "You're dead, Nathan!"
Yeah. I mean, I love that, though, because if any one of us is in that situation, we're all going to sound like 3-year-old girls screaming the entire time.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think is so funny, just as a general sort of criticism people have about horror. Just like, why do people sound so dumb when they're scared? Like, no one's dignified or cool when they're
Oh yeah.
like I remember there's a article that came out like explaining the difference how men screamed in horror movies from before and after the Civil War. I mean, it's not Civil War, the World War II. Because yeah,
In movies before the Civil War.
before World War
My
II.
cereals.
Because you have actors and creators that lived through genuine life and death scenarios. They know what it's like to have pit of your stomach fear.
Sure.
Whereas a lot of men in movie now have a deeper, more I'm still trying to sound manly when I'm scared, which doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah, I'm not worried about the octave of my scream. I'm worried about the fact that I just shit my pants, and I'm also terrified.
And the pants are not brown.
No.
I didn't wear the brown pants.
That's kind of like the same thing as to a different movie, the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
Probably everybody's heard this story. When Viggo Mortensen kicks the hell... No, I'm kidding. I'm not doing that one. Everybody knows he broke his foot. But no, when Saruman, played by Christopher Lee, is stabbed in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Peter
Only
Jackson,
in the extended cut.
Yeah, which is the only one you should be watching.
Exactly.
As soon as you're done with WandaVision, fuck you, watch WandaVision. But when he's stabbed in the back, Peter Jackson, the director, was like, you need to scream. And Christopher Lee said, I'm not going to scream. Do you know what a man sounds like when he's been stabbed in the back? Peter Jackson's like, no. And Christopher Lee says, I do. I'll take care of it.
Yeah, because he was like the British Secret Forces agent.
He was fucking James Bond.
Like IRL.
real life fucking James Bond.
And then he was Dracula, and then he made
And a
metal
Sith.
albums.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was a Sith.
He was a
and
Sith.
a wizard.
And I repeat, he made metal albums,
Yeah.
and they were pretty rad.
He was also friends with J.R.R. Tolkien.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Lee was a badass.
Yeah, he was the only one of the cast who ever got to meet him.
Well, it's because he was 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
But the
He
point of
forgot
that
he
is...
wrote the books.
Christopher Lee's a ghostwriter on
I'm
the
not-
series.
but no, the point of that is that, yeah, like Pat said, people who know how you sound when you're scared don't usually critique how people in movies sound when they're scared. If I
do.
am shitting my pants in terror, my voice can be pretty fucking high. Not like, oh no, I'm frightened. No, it's gonna be, ah.
I would be right.
So I'm the asshole is what I'm hearing. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
you said
yes.
it, not us.
I
mean-
didn't say it, yes. But
I
was like,
I wouldn't call you an asshole, but if you wrote it down, I'd sign my name to it.
fucking, like,
God
oh
damn.
my God.
That was that. Oh my God. I just tooted.
My old PE teacher used to say that. Not
What?
the asshole part, but
pooted?
no, he said that too. But,
Hey kids, guess what? I just tooted.
I just shattered.
He would always say, because he was a Christian school, he's like, I'm not going to cuss, but if you wrote it down, I'd sign my name to it. I always thought that was funny. He's a good guy. I miss him. He moved to New York. So yeah, you're an asshole. That was the point of that,
Yes.
Cannon.
Yeah. That's
Is that Coach
fine.
Vic?
Yeah, JD Vick. How the hell do you know JD Vick?
I went to TCS
Oh, that's right, you
until
did.
like third grade.
Yeah. I miss him. I need to call him. Sorry, personal reminiscence. Anyway, Color Out of Space. Nicholas
it's a color
Cage.
and it's from space.
They have a podcast where Jimmy just dials up people on his phone he hasn't talked to. It's like, they call it reconnections.
Yeah, that'll be the new spinoff that we do.
Reminiscing about old high school coaches.
Because in Alabama, I don't know if you knew this, but you only need one party consent to record phone calls.
That is true.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we record them live. It's like, oh, by the way, this is going up.
This is
Yeah.
for our
Your
podcast.
own, your own speaker. We need the content. Say something funny.
Who are you? I haven't talked to you in 10 years.
Blue Skidoo, I shit too.
Have you seen my cat G-Spot anywhere?
God damn it. That was a bit.
You see,
in the
Tommy
movie.
Chong's cat was named G-Spot, and I have the actual quote here. I wanted the world to know this. Benny's cat was named G-Spot, and he said, wait, Mark was his name, right? Was asking him about the cat?
Ward.
Ward?
Mhm.
Yeah, whatever his fucking name was.
Ward Phillips.
Ward Phillips, the water guy. What? Come on. That's the coolest name ever. A pussy named G-Spot? It's totally hilarious. And I thought like the bit would be like, well, you never know where he is. She's always gone, or I forgot the gender of the cat.
Well, the thing is, if that was the case, the cat would be named the Clit.
Hey!
Waka waka.
And I do believe you do end up seeing the cat when Nicolas Cage is driving back. At least I thought that was the cat.
That was the cat.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was kind of a like blink and you'll miss it kind of scenario. But
One of the two jump scares.
also,
Like
another
proper
aspect of this film that I liked when Nicolas Cage was trying to call his daughter, and the opposing person would hear something completely different. Like he's just like, "Hey, how you doing?" But she's hearing like just screaming on the other end, like faint screaming.
Yeah, but it was
That
like,
was creepy.
yeah.
And that's what I liked so much about the movie is that the original story, the first story, this was the first one he ever did that had that cosmic horror theme. You know, this was pre-Cthulhu, pre-everything else like that. He had just done classically gothic, scary stories up to this point. But the movie introduces a lot more of that cosmic feeling of helplessness. You know, man looks up at the stars and all of a sudden realizes that they all want to kill him. You know, that sort of feeling. And the movie added a lot of that to this, you know, with the scene from the planet that the color's from and just that general cosmic creepiness.
But in this movie, they look in a well for the stars. They don't look up.
That is true.
Yeah, the well is also in the book.
I know, but the stars are down there. They're not up there in this universe.
Yeah,
Well stars.
yeah. Star Whales.
Yep.
Sung to the tune of Starman by David Bowie.
Yeah, but it's sung by Ellen DeGeneres' Dory.
Some little kid with glasses just like chilling the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
looking at a well.
Well,
God, and that kid, he was in Haunting of Hill House, right?
Yeah.
See, I've seen Hill House. I don't remember this kid for some reason.
Uh,
It's been a
he's
while.
always that kid, and like child abuse is never okay. But I wanted to dunk his head in the toilet.
well, it should make you happy to know that in the book, all of Nahum's sons, except for one, there's 3 total. The other 2 go missing and are later found in the well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I did think it was funny that they kind of teased the little boy going in the well, but actually it was the oldest boy that goes in the well.
Oh yeah, and
Because Nathan has that really chilling throwaway line. Because you never see what happens to Benny after he gets sucked into the well. You just hear Nathan say, "Yeah, Benny, he lives in the well now."
Yeah, and that's
that was creepy as
that's
shit.
ripped straight from the book too. Like a lot of the stuff they just took from the story, and I love that because it still works so well.
Yeah.
Well, get it?
Yeah.
So well.
Yeah, because you totally meant to do that.
Absolutely. I always plan the words I'm going to say because I'm never caught off guard.
Serendipity, never heard of her.
Right.
So another funny bit from this movie. I think it was the funniest bit that it was kind of a collab around the room. But the mayor was named Tuma, so that first name had to be Isnada. Isnada Tuma.
Boo.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
That's hilarious.
That was
And
pretty
it's
funny.
going to be really great in my spin-off Kindergarten Cop podcast, which I plan on getting on the ground floor of.
Like it's
here
not
in the
even
near
actor
future.
podcast anymore. It's just movies.
No,
Like,
it's just
It's
technically.
specifically
there's 2 of them, so I can do this. That's 2 episodes right there.
specifically Kindergarten Cop.
I'm surprised you don't love the sequel since Dolph Lundgren's in it.
I mean, I love Dolph Lundgren. That doesn't mean I love all the movies he's in, which will be a theme with Nicolas Cage. I love Nicolas Cage. It doesn't mean I like all the things he's in.
I mean, this is true.
I mean, there is Left Behind.
Yeah, that's just to let all of you know, that movie is garbage.
In case you were wondering.
It made the originals with Kirk Cameron look good.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, I love Nicolas Cage, but, and this might be, a little early, a little premature, but I feel like we're going to get a little more dookie than good here.
No, it's going to be
Maybe.
a lot of middling.
A lot
There's
of
gonna be
middling.
A lot of high points, a couple real nasty lows. I think Left Behind will probably be the worst thing we watch, though. Like, I feel
agree.
comfortable. I feel comfortable saying that Left Behind will be the worst thing we watch. Like that will get. We'll have to find a way to break Letterboxd so we can do 0 stars because half a star is not low enough.
With that being said, you've already watched Left Behind. What did you give it on Letterboxd? Is it
Half a star.
half a star?
Same.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
Because
Down
because
Letterboxd,
like
it-
because the thing is with that
Early
movie.
review.
Yeah, it's a fun preview
This is a
'cause we're-
preview for Left
We're
Behind.
months away
No,
from
yeah,
this.
just quick preview.
I got to start drinking so I can watch this
Yes.
bullshit again.
Is that like even like a lot of like bad Cage movies like The Wicker Man are fun.
He knew what he was doing in Wicker Man.
I mean, he was in a bear suit and punched a woman. That's fucking hilarious.
It's great.
But like this movie is not fun, and it's like it takes like a quarter of the first Left Behind book, which there are apparently like 12,
There's a lot of those books.
There are
yes.
at least 9 that I remember.
and they elongate it to like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and everyone sucks, and there is
Everyone sucks.
No, the worst characters in this movie are just the random Christians that show up. Like, it made me sad to be a Christian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
like it's
like
not
there
a
there
big
is a
endorsement for Christianity.
like a bigoted little person, and
Yeah.
he was the worst.
It's like who is this fucking movie for? The Christians are the worst people. Like, I'm rooting for not the
And
Christians.
slowly, Color Out of Space like mutated into a Left Behind episode.
we'll get to that in like 2 years.
Oh, yeah,
we
no.
Can, we can tell you who was left behind at the end of the Color Out of Space because there wasn't
No.
too many people that
It was just
survived.
Ward
Right.
Phillips.
Oh yeah, it's like Walking Dead. Everybody dying.
Well, the point of that was, though, that will be the worst movie we review of Cage. I feel fairly certain.
Yeah.
Because I've seen most of them. And, like, my score for Moonstruck is going to be way lower than you guys. That's because I don't like Cher.
That's gonna be the best movie we watch.
It's far from... No, anyway, the point is...
Justin, snap out of it.
Shut up.
He just doesn't believe in life after love.
I don't believe in autotune either.
Also, a little fun fact that I thought was interesting. Did a little digging, and apparently, like Nick Cage, Richard Stanley also went on the search for the Holy Grail.
That does not surprise me in the slightest.
I mean, if you look at his picture of Richard Stanley, he looks like someone who looked for the Holy Grail.
Yeah, he looks like if Anton LaVey was a member of Kiss.
That is scarily accurate.
But with more cowboy hats.
I will not be able to unsee that now.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No. But no, Lost Soul is the documentary about him and the making of Island of Dr. Moreau. It's on Amazon, I think, still. That's where I saw it. I think it's still there. But definitely check that out because holy shit, that movie.
That's that documentary has been on my watch list for a while. I have to watch the.
It's a good one. There's also a Lovecraft documentary that talks about his life. They got Guillermo del Toro to be on there to talk about it. And it was really good, too.
Okay.
And they don't shy away from his horrible, horrible racism.
It's like,
Yeah,
look at this dude. He was an influential writer, but also a massive cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the edition of the collected stories I have, it's like there's like a 15-page introduction. It's like, yeah, this guy was like stupid, bigoted.
Even for the time, really racist.
Apparently he did calm down in his later years, but not,
Yeah,
like,
that's
not
why-
by a lot, but by enough to match the rest of the society at the time.
See, he was up here. Everyone's like up here. They got him out right there.
Yeah, like he was started off at like a 9 when everybody else was at a 6, and then he slowly got down to a 6.
I just want to point out that I obviously have the least bit of knowledge about Lovecraft stuff. But that's why I was excited, because I knew Justin was going to explain it to me. I was going to learn some shit today.
You can borrow this book I got if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of
there's some
like,
good stuff in there.
Yeah, and most of his stuff is public domain. So you can like that link I sent to the Facebook chat that none of you were a part of who are listening.
None of you.
None of you.
And
It's
you can't get in.
it's
You're not
private.
part of the elite.
No. The link I sent has a bunch of his stuff on there. Very easy to read format. It's definitely worth it. And you'll have to search like a Swedish upload of it on YouTube. But about 2005, somebody did a silent film treatment of Call of Cthulhu. And it's really good. If I can find that link, I'll send it to you guys. But yeah, and to everyone listening, silent film version of Call of Cthulhu. You might have to do some digging, but it's really fun.
It's kind of like
That sounds cool.
John and I found that version of Pink Flamingos on a Russian upload site, but all the subtitles were in Portuguese.
The thing is I remember that, but only barely.
Yeah, because there might have been some liquids involved that night.
Also, Pink.
They were drunk.
Also,
They were very, very drunk.
See, Pat was like moderately drunk. I was 5 sheets in the wind. Pink Flamingos, that is a cinematic masterpiece. You can't tell me otherwise.
I haven't seen it.
You don't have to worry about a spin-off of that because we already did a John Waters episode.
We
On the
did.
main show.
I believe I walked in on a couple of interesting scenes of Pink Flamingos. If this is the same movie that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, the whistling butthole to the bird is the word. Yeah, it's that.
No,
It
I
sounds
heard
like
that
John
one
Waters,
from
yeah.
my room. I wasn't in the room for that one, but that was a long song.
It is a really long song.
Also, did you watch Rubber yet?
Rubber?
The
Oh God,
That was the last episode.
sentient tire.
I have it on my watch list. We'll get to it.
we're going to get to it.
Because that's right up your alley with your weird hipster indie bullshit.
I think
I don't think John Waters is hipster or indie.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that one. I just meant your normal weird hipster
yeah.
indie bullshit.
Yeah.
So the
But if
color
it
out
had
of
Cage
space.
in it, fucking Dave Meltzer 7.5 stars. In
Damn
Tokyo
right.
Dome.
Yep. That's right. We're also doing a wrestling podcast next.
Hey,
because
you joke, but I want to do that.
there aren't
shit.
enough of them.
No,
Yeah.
there really aren't.
Yeah.
Not enough good ones. That is.
Right.
Actually, there are a lot of good ones.
So to all two of you listening, if any of these spin-off podcasts sound fun to you, let us know in the comments or just text us because you're already friends with us most likely.
Leave a review. Get us that engagement up.
Yeah, leave a review on any of the formats where we are talking about how funny, witty, and handsome we are. Because, you know,
We need validation.
we need validation. You know, I don't know.
We're all depressed.
I know Cannon's in a relationship, but I'm a very lonely man, and I'm sure Jonathan and Pat could, they'd probably like some companions. Talking about how handsome we are, really talk us up to your friends.
because we can't do therapy, so we just need validation.
Right, this is America. I can't afford therapy. I can barely afford these cough drops.
I know I brought this up in the Caging Greatness group chat that none of you are a part of.
None of you.
Not a single one.
This is our thing. Get your own.
Yeah, get your own Caging Greatness group chat that's about this Caging Greatness podcast. group.
Right, we will sue you for theft of intellectual
We'll
property.
sue you for theft.
I know lawyers, damn it.
But
what if it's like Caging Greatness, but they just like replace a letter or something? Like instead of GREAT, it's like GRAT.
Well, then that better be about cheese.
But what if it's about Nicolas Cage and cheese?
I'm surprised we're not doing that right now.
Honestly,
tune in next week for our,
TM.
cheese.
We have
But no,
we have like a charcuterie board for the next episode.
no, the cheese
We
episode.
should
The
probably
cheese
do
show
it
is
anyway.
Liz's show.
Like, hear me out. For going forward, we just do a Nicolas Cage and cheese podcast where every episode we have a different type of cheese.
Fuck it. I'm down.
We
I love
pair
cheese.
a cheese that will go well with what we're watching.
Fuck. Why don't we do that now?
I mean,
Well, we don't have that much cheese right now.
I mean,
but
Oh, that's
if
fair.
you're a
we
wrestling
got to build up the
podcast
cheese budget.
That
Right.
pair beer with matches. I think we can do cheese and Cage.
That is a real podcast. Beer with certain matches.
Yeah.
What?
Huh.
Holy shit! That
All right.
is.
So
that's a new one.
we're gonna start releasing merch soon so that we can build the cheese budget.
Yes.
If you have any fun ideas for merch you'd like to see, just text us because you probably already have our contact information because there's only 2 of you that listen to the show.
Who are big Leonard Skinner fans,
Right.
and also
Leinard Skynard.
Leonard Skinner. Yes.
And real indifferent to share.
Leonard Skinner. Anyway,
Like that's gonna be my shirt. I don't believe in life after love.
I thought of another movie that we need to do, and that's another one I'm excited for.
What was that?
I said anything he's in is gung ho,
Damn right.
and I don't mean to jump the gun. I know we're still talking about Color Out of Space.
Are we?
Well, I mean,
Well, I
we
mean-
pretty much said everything we need to say about Color Out of Space
Yeah,
at this point.
we've said things. We've said a lot of things.
It's
only the point of a fucking podcast.
It's indescribable, really. It's hard to put into words. It's just something you have to see for yourself, much like a color out of space.
Because it's a color from space.
I said the thing.
I'm trying to picture a pie chart and like how much of it is the movie and how much of it is just us vamping.
Does it really matter? Though?
I'd say we're at 60-40, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
I think we're a solid 60-40.
yeah.
I would go and say
70-30
70-30.
movie.
And you know what? I'm going to crank it up to 70 because we have to do.
Well, what movie were you talking about?
My God. I've been interrupted 18 times, and I'm mad about it.
Well,
sorry.
yeah, I'm trying to tell you because you wanted to say the movie, and then I want to know what movie. I'm really curious.
See,
So,
now-
Cannon, what movie?
Not only is he mad, but are you pissed off and mad about it?
I turned off my microphone.
He turned off.
The other microphones can hear me right
All right, he turned off his mic. Okay. What movie though, Cannon? Seriously, I'm curious.
The Death of Superman Lives. What happened?
Oh God, yes.
Oh, yeah,
that's
that-
already on the list.
Hell yeah.
All right, good. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to be over here pissed off and mad about it.
Oh, thanks for almost hitting me with that stray bullet.
You're welcome.
Can't believe you just shot at Pat.
Yes, I shot a empty water bottle at
Yeah,
Pat.
so technically that means that was almost a hate crime.
Almost, but not quite.
Did you guys know that Elijah Wood actually helped produce Color Out of Space?
I did. I saw that on Letterboxd.
Right? It's pretty
No.
neat, right?
That's one cool thing I found about Elijah Wood. Like post Lord of the Rings career, he has more money than he'll ever get to spend. So he's been just like financing and producing like all these sort of budget and indie horror films. That's like a passion he had, and that's just sort of like been his sort of trajectory of his career, just like doing these like small weird things, like sort of how like Daniel Radcliffe has all the Harry Potter money, so I can do whatever weird fucking thing I want.
All that hair potty money.
Her.
Arr.
I think the color is seeping into the basement.
No, it still looks pretty dim in here.
Then what's
Is it the color or is it the black mold?
Or is it the cricket who hated Jonathan's joke?
is
If
whatever
that cricket
weird
goes off
technically
again-
color is behind Shimmy.
The Color Out of Space, starring Nicholas.
On the subject of color, I did find this cool fact about why the specific color magenta was chosen for the film. Because, like, in the book, it's just this color we can't describe.
Sure.
But the choice to make it an actual color magenta was that objectively the color magenta doesn't exist on the natural color spectrum because, quote, instead it is an extra spectral color that is only perceived by humans when optical rods in their eyes detect red and blue colors interacting on specific surfaces and circumstances that make people imagine the color of magenta.
Huh.
That's interesting.
So there's a lot of big brain, galaxy brain that went into the making of this movie.
Well, Richard Stanley would have had an incredible career if not for Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando. I firmly believe that. Like his version of Dr. Moreau would have been fantastic. And it's a shame that we got robbed of 20 years of whatever the hell he wanted to do because of Hollywood egos.
Just watching the thing on repeat the whole time for 20 years.
Might have been.
I mean, it's not a bad movie to watch.
No, John Carpenter, Kurt Russell. Great
great.
stuff.
Yeah, it is a 10 out of 10 movie.
Yeah.
Listen to the essential viewing episode of that film.
Yeah. Shameless plug here.
Shameless plug. Where I
Shame-
was like not out of my shell yet, and I was still a little awkward about being on the show. And I was really tired. Goddamn, I just got off work.
Well, to be fair, most of us. To be fair, most of us are usually pretty tired when we record these things.
Yes.
Because it is currently 9:33 at night.
Yeah. And I know, like me and Pat, we've already recorded another episode for our main show.
Yeah, I was at the shop from 9 a.m. to 7. Then I came straight here to wait on you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just another goddamn parents' weekend in T-Town.
Which is every weekend,
Yeah,
apparently.
Fucking 7 a.m. to 4, just cooking for the masses. It's a great fucking time.
And everyone can tell Cannon is just in the best mood tonight. He's super chill, super calm, not mad about anything at all.
Yeah, my blood pressure's not high at all.
No. Well, like blood pressure is sort of like oil pressure. It's supposed to be really, really high to the point of exploding, right? Something my mechanic said.
I think that's right. That sounds about
Yeah,
right.
it sounds
Yeah,
good.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Cholesterol? What's cholesterol?
It's that thing that Cheerios help reduce. Except for I add so much sugar that I'm sure it's not helping.
speaking of food, I'm going to take this all the way back around. You remember ages ago when Justin brought up au jus?
Yeah.
Au jus, yeah.
Well-
just.
All right, I'm gonna tell a very funny story that has nothing to do with Nick Cage.
Sure. I mean,
But,
that's pretty much the last half of the podcast.
Nick Cage episode.
Yes.
That's bullshit.
The lo-
We said everything we needed to say. Go watch Color Out of Space as soon as you're done with WandaVision.
And yes, exactly. I mean, longer the better. Do it for the vine, right?
Right.
Anyway, Logan's Roadhouse.
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 There was this table across from us. I'm assuming the guy got a French dip. Again, this is Logan's Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. This guy
Roadhouse.
is just all of a sudden pops the biggest bone cone over the au jus and is just audibly screaming about it in the restaurant. Like, oh my God, compliments to the chef. This is the greatest au jus I've ever had in my life. Knowing good and goddamn well, some motherfucker in the back just opened up a bag of this shit and put it on a steam table. I work in the restaurant industry. I know what this steam tables are.
They just put that shit in a microwave.
Yes. And this dude is just
He's
jizzing au jus everywhere because of the au jus that he's ingesting.
God, he's just. I bet his pants are really sticky.
And salty.
Unless he ate a lot of pineapple.
Oh! I was talking to the au jus. But now we're going into semen territory. Rated M for splooge.
That sounds like the worst apocalyptic future ever. It's like, hey, everybody be quiet, be quiet. We're in semen territory now. What do you mean? Oh, the Navy. The Navy's where this. What did you think I meant?
You know, a bunch of just burly men on boats.
Right, bunch of seamen.
We're in semen country. And Avenged Sevenfold starts playing for some reason.
It's like that one horrible.
Can't you help me as I'm starting to come?
It's like
God damn it.
it sounds like that one post-apocalyptic movie that had Rona Mitra in it, and everybody was in like weird tattoo tribal face paint shit, and it was called Doomed, or it came out about the same time as Ultraviolet, and everybody hated them both pretty equally.
Well, I definitely haven't heard of
I don't
the
know.
one you're talking about.
Yeah, I've got to look that up now, just so I know what I'm shitting on for sure.
Well, she did bring up just like some random ass like ABC sitcom from the mid '90s where Heath Ledger
Roar!
was looking for the Spear of Longinus.
It's called Roar. It's Heath Ledger's first big role.
The history of Longinas?
That's what it sounded like you said, Pat. Longina.
If you have a Longinus, please consult a doctor.
Man, there's a
Longina.
whole new meaning to the slapping meat. What have we become?
Well, I feel like all the bacon and running off the road is very apropos considering the content we were originally talking about, where we started off normal and just by the sheer presence of this external force, it driven us into madness.
It was called Doomsday, that Rona Mitra movie. It was Doomsday. It was the same guy who did The Descent,
I hated that movie.
and it was not well received.
I can imagine.
I watched it, and I vaguely recall that it exists.
Speaking of post-apocalypses, y'all remember that movie called The Bad Batch where Jason Momoa is a cannibal?
I hate Jason Momoa with a burning passion. I didn't watch
Oh, he's a
that one.
cannibal, and he's a good guy.
I hate all of the things that you just said.
Yeah, and Keanu Reeves has like a fucking harem.
Like a sex cult.
Yeah, a sex cult.
So they just switched the two guys in the roles that they should have, minus the cannibal part.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. That's what they did in fucking Aquaman.
Spawning from the
Well, in the Bad
episode
Batch.
of the Nick. Never mind.
Directed by the same lady who did Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
I still haven't seen that movie. I read the comic book, and it was garbage.
The movie is just okay.
It's pretty, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack's kind of cool.
Well, and so
Also, I apologize for interrupting you.
no.
it sounds like a bunch of dudes sitting on a feminist icon movie.
Just
I mean, I appreciate it. It's
for
just
the most part, I'm not going to kill anybody. It's all for
I cleaned that
content.
audio.
Yeah. Gonna put that in the
Damn
theme
it,
song.
I'm just digging that hole, aren't I? Jonathan is digging a hole with
It just
his
occurred to me,
invisible
I
shovel right
really
now.
do hope that you turned your mic back on.
Oh, I did. Don't worry.
Oh, thank God. That was going to, because we have that no editing rule. That was going to be a real shitty
You
10
remember,
minutes.
remember that time I just turned my mic off because Justin wouldn't let me get a goddamn word in? I know this is your show, but fuck off! No.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
So yeah, au jus and splooge was everywhere.
Sure.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what you want in a fine dining situation.
Logan's fine dining.
For here it is.
But
Yeah,
I mean, no, it's-
sadly, that's true.
Yeah, on my birthday, I found a piece of a wire brush that is used to clean the grills they use in my birthday steak.
Yeah, that's your toothpick.
No,
They were just thinking of you.
I got about halfway through this fucking steak, and there's a long piece of metal right there.
Did you cause a ruckus?
Well, my dad did,
Good.
and granted, we all. It wasn't really a ruckus. It was just like, hey, it's his birthday, and he just found this big ass piece of metal in his food. All the food was
I feel like it wouldn't be okay even if it wasn't your birthday.
exactly. Like it
Right.
wouldn't be okay, like for anything. Like fuck my birthday, I still could have died.
That is, yeah, that's.
I mean, I don't know. Like when I went to cut the steak, when I'm like, dink, dink. What the fuck? That's not the plate, and it's just metal. But the funny thing was, whenever they would go out to eat, and I would go with them, they would like still go there. I'm just like, I mean, I don't want to get more metal in my food.
Yeah. But other than the metal in the steak, was it good?
I mean,
It was,
I didn't stop eating until I found a piece of metal in it, so I guess so.
yeah.
Did they at least cook you a new steak?
No.
Oh, I was like, no,
They're
no.
like, you can take that metal steak home, though.
Like, no, you're going to go cook me another one, and it's going to be free. Or I'm calling the news.
Calling the fucking news.
And not just Huey Lewis. I'll call Huey Lewis, too.
Like, I technically work with the news, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But not really.
I just do customer service.
Yeah, I know. Man,
Needless to say, the newspaper business not doing so hot. Spoiler.
you know who had a lot of Nick Cage freakouts today? Me at work.
I can believe that.
Sure,
Yeah,
that's
it
fair.
Sucked. I cooked a lot of things today for a lot of people.
And a lot of people who probably need to stay home because we're still in a fucking pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
And go back to Washington, Karen, you
Yeah.
stupid.
Like, I don't
butthole.
understand why. I'm sorry. I know. Fuck it. Like, it's good. Sidebar. Like, hometown rant. Like, local rant.
Like the last 20 minutes have been a sidebar. You're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, it's fine. Like, okay, this happened last year. Multiple parents' weekends for all the students, mommy and daddies, to come and see how they're doing.
Yeah.
I bet half of them is just an excuse to be like drunken degenerates like their kids
Oh,
at the
God.
local bars here in town.
I've had many horror stories of just like being on the strip for some reason. Like there was one time we went to the Waffle House on the strip because it's objectively the best Waffle House. And, no one was drunk. We were just, minding our own business, eating our waffles, having a grand old time. And then this group of like 50-something-year-olds, like older people.
I'm going to say 50-something-year-olds or a bunch of 50-something-year-olds.
They were boomers. Let's
Okay,
just say that.
gotcha. Yeah.
And they just come in and they just start screeching. Not anything, just
Full pterodactyl.
yeah, just and then apparently they knew someone who also was in the Waffle House, and then they started screeching. It started like a fucking
Cacophony.
a cacophony, a cascade of screeching, and the fucking chef who was fucking champ. Oh, love you, dude. Just turned around and said, "Hey, y'all need to shut the fuck up."
Excellent. Well, I think that's probably a good note to end on for this Color Out of Space episode, where we were all slowly driven into our own personal madnesses. Except Pat, who's just fucking surfing the internet at this point.
Yeah, Pat
I don't blame him.
chill.
Yeah, we're fine.
For the ride.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure he's heard all of our bullshit at least once by now. But it's new to you guys, who will never be on the Caging Greatness Facebook chat. But it's cool. We still love you. Drop us a fun review.
I
Talk
see
about
why
how
people
handsome.
don't listen to us now.
Do you mean the show or in real life? Or both?
Both at this point.
No, we have at least 2 listeners that I know of, and we want to thank you both very much.
Yes. Hi, Frank.
Hey, Frank.
We love you, Frank.
We'll be talking to you real soon.
Yeah, we're going to bring you on the spin-off podcast, the Stacy X Hour, which is going to be
There's a
a
throwback.
solid 45 minutes of shit talking the greatest X-Men character of all time.
Can we also do an episode
Snake
where we
whore
talk about Dazzler
lady.
for 45 minutes?
Hey,
Yes.
you go to hell. You do your own fucking Dazzler show. We want to thank you both of our fans for listening to
Again, thank you, Frank.
tonight's bullshit. To anyone who happened to be finding us for the first time, please refer back to Willy's Wonderland or episode 0 or any episode after this one. Will likely be much more coherent and entertaining.
Don't count on it, though.
I mean, we can hope, please God. Anyway, thank you for listening, and we're going to do our plugs now. So please listen to the plugs. Find us wherever you're listening or other places that you can listen. We're on Apple, or Spotify, Google, TuneIn, SoundCloud. Give us fun reviews. Talk about how handsome we are and how funny we are. It's fine to lie in certain situations, so don't let that worry you.
Has Frank given us a review yet?
No.
What?
The only review we've gotten on any platform is on Apple, where someone gave us 5 stars and said we were all very handsome. And
It was you,
It was
wasn't
me.
it?
It was absolutely. It was abso-fucking-lutely me. So you 3 need to talk about how handsome we are.
I don't have an iPhone.
Okay, well, go to the Amazon one, or no, sorry, the Google one, or the TuneIn, or the SoundCloud, or
Fuck
the
is tuned
Spotify.
in. No offense, tuned in, but what is that?
It's another platform.
It
I don't know.
catches it.
It was on the SoundCloud list, so I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not?
Okay.
So, Cannon, where can the 2 people who listen to the show find you?
Well, Frank, I just want to remind you that I'm That Cannon Guy. You can find me at That Cannon Guy on Letterboxd, Twitter, Instagram, the Old Testament. It's all the same thing. You can find me there.
I don't think that's accurate, but whatever.
It's. I mean, when I write it in the Bible, it's accurate.
That seems sacrilegious, but it's cool.
I mean,
continue.
The Sharpie marker, and he just goes to the Gideon's Bible and hotels me like Cannon was here.
Yes, you caught me.
Signs the interior of the Gideon
Canon
Bible.
3:16 says.
Fucking
Oh
hell.
my! You know what? That's
Oh,
happening
no.
at every hotel from now on, Pat. Thank you.
Please don't do that. We discourage our viewers and listeners from doing that.
No, y'all do whatever you want, live your life. But Canon 3:16 says, "I just wrote in your Bible." Take that, Ramada Inn.
We're gonna get so many fucking complaints. No one's gonna talk about how handsome we are now.
Roadhouse.
I'm sorry, Frank. I'm so sorry, Roadhouse.
Pat, if you want to give your information now, or if you don't, you want to just stay anonymous for this one.
I'm sorry, Pat.
Thank you all for listening to this. We hope you had a good time. I think we did too. So you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at John Lost His Name.
My name is Jonathan. You can follow me at Twitter at JWINIIBOI24 and John Ownson 12 on Letterboxd.
I am Justin. You can find me anywhere you see Captain Shimmy online. You can find me at Captain Shimmy's Kinda Art, Captain Shimmy's Almost Music. You can find me at the comic strip in Tuscaloosa, which has no legal or moral ties to anything said on this show. The store remains neutral. Captain Shimmy on Letterboxd also, I think. I don't know. I barely remember signing in. And again, please, we want to say thank you for listening, and please leave us reviews, likes, shares. Going to start name dropping other people that I know listen to the show, like Alex. What's up, bud? Miss you. Come back and visit us sometime. Pearson, don't repeat anything we say on this show. You're still too young for that.
Not a drop of it.
Stop it. And just, thank you everybody for listening. And again, please talk about how handsome we are. And we hope to see you on the next show. Please come back. I promise we're going to try to make it better.
Better. This is the best episode.
No promises. No promises.
No promises. But, even if nothing else, just like we always tell our listeners, tonight we didn't let anybody cage our greatness. Thank you guys. Good night.
Good night.
Roadhouse.
How absurd.
Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the box?